What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Band of Barbers podcast. I'm your host, Devon Evans, and tonight is episode 59, I believe. I think so. I think we're at 59. Um, Feeling great, feeling good. Took a little day trip today, didn't work today. Um, had a lot going on. Baby's not feeling so well today, so, that's been kind of a thing that we've been dealing with and everything like that. But other than that, that's all good. So enough about me. Let's jump into the episode. So, can I ask you guys a question? Um, Really, and I understand this isn't a dialogue back and forth. Maybe we can dialogue in the comments or wherever you're listening to this at. But I want to ask you guys a question because I'm really trying to understand. For some barbers, like, why did you become a barber? Um, there's a lot of easier things that you could have done per se. There's a lot of other stuff that you could have done besides become a barber. So why did you become a barber? Did you become a barber because it looked like an easy way to make money? Did you become a barber because, I don't know, maybe the barber in your area or your neighborhood or town or whatever, maybe they were a really, really popular person and it didn't seem like they had to really work that hard. Did you become a barber to be in control of your destiny, your day, your time, to make as much or as little money as you wanted to make? Like, why did you become a barber? And I want you guys to think about that we while we go through this episode. So for me, I became a barber actually kind of unintentionally. Okay, so if you've heard anything about my story, you know anything about my story. I started uh, I started giving lineups in the barracks when I was in military school, right? And I would give lineups in the barracks, and I give myself an even Steven at home, and things like that. So that was kind of my start, right? And honestly, I never really took I didn't take barbering serious for a very, very long time. Right? Um I started cutting hair at 13. I did it while I was in military school. I did it again when I was in the military itself. And it was in the military that I started to think, well, I actually like this job. I like doing this. Maybe this is something I can do. When I got out, I'll be honest with you, I was flat broke. All right, I got out of the military flat broke. I spent all that time in there. I had a car and what I could fit in my car, and that's all that I had to show for it. Didn't really have a whole lot of other things. So, didn't really have a whole lot of options. Where I was living at the time, there was a self pay barber school, and um, there was another school that offered financial aid. So, since I didn't have anything, I took the option that had the financial aid. Um, while I was going to school, when I started school, and it wasn't and actually it wasn't a barber program, it was actually a cosmetology program. And so I went to school for a little while, and um, I was really, really in need. I was really, really in need. I was at the time I was living with some people from the church that I was going to at the time, and things like that. I was really, really, really in need. So I went and got a job. I got a job working at a factory, and the reason that I jumped on the job is because the people around, the people who were not in the military said, hey, look, this company is probably one of the best companies that you can get a job at with little experience. You get paid every week, you get good hours, so on and so forth. Now, I was working there. Well, before I started working there, I was working at a restaurant. I hated it. I didn't like smelling like food. It was gross. It wasn't paying that well, anything like that. But when I went to the other place, I couldn't continue to go to school. So I left. I left school. I dropped out of school. I had good money coming in from this job, but I was away from home and everything like that. So what did I decide to do? After working at that job about 6 months, I said, you know what? It's time for me to go home. So packed my car up one day, came home. And my initial thought was, hey, we're going to go ahead and continue and go back and do, finish barbering because I really do like this barbering thing. And what happened? I got another job. It wasn't barbering. Actually, well, take that back. I did about a month, maybe 6 weeks. It probably wasn't even that long of a stint of an apprenticeship in early or mid 2015, I think it was. And I didn't really like the shop. It was it was a 2-man shop. It was me and another guy. And we were in these separate rooms. I really didn't like it. And why am I telling you all this? Because I'm telling you kind of what I went through and the process that I went through, and trying to show you that, like, listen, it's never too late. You can get in really at any time. Um, the ups and downs occur and everything like that. So just follow along with me. So um, I was working at this. I was working at a school, and I was working at a boarding school, and they had a barber there, but the barber wasn't good with curly, kinky, wavy hair. So the kids they found out that I cut hair, kind of talked about it. The kids asked me to say, "Hey, can you come in and cut our hair?" So on and so forth. So I did. I did that for a little while. Did that well. I won't say a little while. I did it a couple times, probably two or three. And while I was doing that, some people that I was working with was complaining about the fact that this is what I was doing and I wasn't doing other stuff. And I was, I kind of got upset, so I stopped doing it, you know, and they were like, well, can you do it during your off time? And I'm like, I'm at work all the time. What off time do I really have? And they was like, yeah, we understand. So I stopped doing it. And then I leave there. I go work another job, and of course they hear again. Oh, you can cut hair. You can do this. So I was like, yeah, I can, so on and so forth. And I'm doing it, and somebody else again complains about me cutting hair while I'm at work. And my thought process was, if you could do it, you would do it, right? And they were upset. And I'm like, the person that's getting taken advantage of is me. I'm not getting paid anymore to do this. This is just something that takes up the time while I'm here. I'm gonna be here for 12 hours. 2 of these hours I might spend cutting hair. Oh no. It takes up that time. Congratulations. Great, wonderful. Whatever. So um I started doing it. I think it was like maybe every other weekend I was doing it. Cutting hair, cutting hair, cutting hair, cutting hair. Right? Because they were having problems with keeping a barber. So they asked me to do it. I said, okay, cool, I'll do it. So did it a couple times. They liked it. They said, oh, that's great, cool, yada yada yada. I'm like, all right. And finally the coworker of mine complained and it got back to me. And this time, like, I was frustrated. I was so angry. So angry. This was probably a Sunday, and I was growing my hair out, and I had been getting my hair braided. And once my hair gets to a certain length, I don't really like to cut it, just because if I mess it up, I'm going to cut it all off. And my wife doesn't really like that, so I'm just like, all right, I won't do that. I'll just cut my hair. Stay with me now. So that Sunday goes, I go home and I talk to my wife, and I'm just frustrated about this conversation. And I'm like, I cannot believe someone is upset. Like, I'm the one that's really getting taken advantage of here. And it dawned on me. I'm sitting there. I had $1,100 worth of clippers at the time that I had bought. I was not a barber, but I had $1,100 worth of clippers at the time. I think at the time I had 76ers with the blades. I had the Wall Seniors. I had T outliners. I had the Wall T liners, and all of these different tools and everything like that. I think I might have had like the Super Taper 2000. I just had clippers upon clippers upon clippers. I had a bunch of clippers. So I was sitting there talking to my wife, and I was frustrated. And this is on the back end. I skipped over this. This is on the back end of, like, I really became a barber by accident. Well, it's not necessarily really by accident, but my wife and I had opened a t-shirt business, and this was right before COVID, and COVID hit. No, this wasn't before COVID. This was 2018. We opened a t-shirt business. It was going well, but it wasn't consistent. But it was going well. We were making a little bit of money. We were really kind of breaking even. We were getting some big contracts, but it was really just breaking even. Things started to slow. We changed our jobs. We changed a lot of things that was going on, so on and so forth. So when the t-shirt business has started to really, really start to kind of decline for a little bit. And so on the back end of this conversation, we're sitting there, we're talking. I'm like, I'm just frustrated. I'm upset. I was like, I think I want to become a barber. I was like, I had started my apprenticeship. I think I just want to go and finish it. And my wife looked at me and she said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, she said to me, if you start this and you don't finish this, I'm going to punch you in your face. Now, if you know anything about my wife, one, she's not a very confrontational person. She doesn't say things like that. We don't talk to each other like that. Anything like that. It's just not a type of conversation that we have. But on that frustration and in that mode, I took what she said very, very seriously. She said, if you want to do this, this is fine. I will support you. She said, but don't quit another thing. At least finish it. See it through. I said, okay. And she was like, because if not, I'm going to punch you in your face. And I was like, not really looking to get punched in the face. So this was Sunday. I think that Monday I got my hair. Monday I got my hair braided that day, and that Tuesday I was gonna go back to the same shop where I got my hair braided, and I was gonna uh, talk to the owner. See if he got a space. Yada yada yada, so on and so forth. So that Monday goes, that Tuesday goes, and but long story short, the rest was history. I mean, I could tell but the rest of it was history. That's just kind of what that's what happened. So I became a barber not only because I was already interested in it, but I really got pushed into it because honestly, I was tired of being disrespected. I was tired of being disrespected for having a skill that other people did not have and providing it to places where people did not want to come. People didn't want to come to the boarding school. People didn't want to come to the other job that I had. They did not want to come. It was not worth it to them. And I was literally just trying to do a good thing for people who don't have a lot of things going in their favor or for them. And people just talked so bad about it. I mean, so bad about it. And so, I said all that to say, like, my reason for becoming a barber was spurred off the disrespect, but it was also because I really actually enjoy it. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the human interaction, even though it can be tolling some days. I enjoy my version of art because I can't draw to save my life. Well, I won't say that I can't. I haven't practiced drawing enough to say that I'm an artist, but I have practiced and practiced and practiced at cutting hair enough to know that I'm an artist. So that was really my reasoning, guys. My reasoning was that I enjoyed what I was doing. I enjoyed the art of cutting hair. I enjoyed the time that I spent cutting hair and the interaction that I got with people. But I also didn't like being disrespected. I had really worked at this. So again, I asked you, like, why are you guys doing this? And I will tell you this. This career requires a strong will. When I say a strong will, I mean, like, this career requires you to really go for it because you're going to make mistakes. Nobody is coming straight out of this game, straight out with the Clippers and going to do a perfect haircut on every hair texture every single time. I don't care if you've been cutting your hair for 20 years. If you got curly, kinky, wavy hair, and I give you a straight hair client, you're probably going to struggle. If you got straight hair and I give you curly, kinky, wavy hair the first time, you're going to struggle. So the struggle is a part of the career, is a part of the build, it's a part of how these things just go. And you really have to understand that. The struggle is a part of it. And that's okay. This microwave gotta be successful, gotta do this, gotta do like this. Listen, it's okay. It's okay to work your way up into success. It's not okay just to quit. It's just not. It's not okay just to quit, just to walk away. Like, the problem that I see, and I won't say this generation, I will say with a lot of people, they won't give enough effort or stay consistent long enough to actually see the success. They will not stay consistent or give enough effort long enough to actually see the success. Some people give up in a month, 2 months, 6 months. Like 6 months of doing this, and it all and I will say this, it all depends. But in my opinion, 6 months as a barber is not enough time to make a decision. If you've already made the decision, you've gone through school, you've done. I'm saying once you've gotten out of school, even in school. Listen, guys, like I went to school, dropped out. I did an apprenticeship, quit, and then I did my second apprenticeship, and I finished it. I was 30 when I finished. 30. Okay, guys, like I was 30. I went to school the very first time. I went to school at 25. I went to school at 25 for the very first time. Quit 2 months later. Did an apprenticeship same year. Quit month and a half, 2 months later. I mean, do you guys like? Do you get it? Do you see it? I stick through, stick it out, because the results on the other side of sticking it out can be great. They can be great. Excuse me, sorry. I took the experiences from those jobs that I was working, trying to avoid being a barber. And I'm gonna tell you the number one reason that I didn't become a barber, because I didn't think that barbers made any money. That's a funny joke. I didn't think barbers made any money. I also was not willing to go a period. I also wasn't at the time willing to go a period and sacrifice without money, because I told you guys I was flat broke when I got out of the military. Flat broke. No money. Just broke. I mean, can you understand that? Like, I was broke. And I'm saying, and at the time, I was like, I'm gonna be broke and then try to go to school. I'm 25 years old. I'm too old to be a broke college student. But I tell you now, I wish I had stuck it out. I wish I had stuck it out, because in that environment where I was at, I was in a military town. There was nothing but barbershops and tattoo shops on every single corner. There was a barbershop in that town that had 30 barber chairs in it. 30. 30 barber chairs. And there was still a barbershop on every single corner. Multiple on there was one area in town where I think within one section of the street, there might have been like 4, maybe 5 barbershops. I'm talking about within like the space of a strip mall. We're talking about both sides of the street because there was one barbershop in the strip mall, and then there was a lot of individual or smaller buildings on the opposite side of the street. And these buildings were so close that like when you could throw like you could play catch with a baseball comfortably from one barbershop to the next. I'm talking about parking lots next to each other, type close. In one little area. Barbershops everywhere. Everywhere. Barbers from the other side of the state. Now I want you to think about this for where the location that you are. Barbers would come. I lived in, and so I can give you an idea. If you know the area, you know the area. Barbers would come from Raleigh and Charlotte to Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is like, I think it was like a 2.5 hour drive, almost 3 hours, maybe. I may be wrong, but it's about that. It's about that distance. Well, maybe say 2. I don't know. It's a far. They would come down on Friday night, work Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, and then go back to their barbershops in Raleigh and Charlotte. Now, if you don't know anything about Charlotte, and we're not talking about like think about this, okay? Charlotte is a major financial hub as far as financial industries, right? A lot of the financial industry places are there. So what does that mean? There's money there. The Charlotte Bobcats, the Charlotte Hornets are there. Um the Charlotte the Panthers are there. You've got all of this stuff. You got all these concerts. You've got big venues. You got these major financial companies all in this area. So there's money to be made. I mean, listen, Charlotte has, if I'm not mistaken, they have a Louis Vuitton store. They have they have like a totally separate high end mall, right? And I think it's like Louis Vuitton. It might be Gucci. I know the Rolex store is in there. All they got a whole separate mall, but people was making they was making so much money where I was at in Jacksonville, North Carolina. They would travel down there every week. Every week, stay down there for 2 days, 2.5 days. They drive back on Sunday so they could be in the shop. They drive back Sunday, and they take Monday off. They work in their shop Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Come back to Jacksonville on Friday. Every freaking week. Every week. And I thought that there was no money in it. I was having these conversations with these people, and I still thought that there was no money in it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my opinion has changed. Very much so. Shoot. I'm going to be honest with you. Just talking about Jacksonville make me want to go back down there for a couple weekends. Just a thought. Might have to do that. Might have to take a trip. Call some barbers up. See if I can, come down there for the weekend. If any barbers in North Carolina is listening from Jacksonville, and you know me, hit me up. I might have to come down there and check you guys out, see what's going on. Anyways, God, I just wanted to talk to you tonight. Like, that's all. Just wanted to check in. I really wanted to get a thermometer, get a gauge on like why are you guys actually thinking about being barbers or actually are barbers, and what was your opinion in the beginning versus your opinion now, and what's going on, you know why you get started. And sometimes, the why you got started, if you've been in the industry any amount of time, sometimes you forget the why. Sometimes you forget the why and your original why. And your why may change over the years, but sometimes you forget that initial why. That initial why when you was really hungry. Right? It's like that old saying, like some people, like you cry about where you are, but some people pray to be where you are. Now you done got here, you done a few things, and now you upset. Maybe we need to recalibrate. Maybe we need to check it out. Maybe we need to fix a few things. All right. But it'll be all right. Don't worry about it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You struggling, you down a little bit. Hey, take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health, you know, take care of your emotional health. And if you're doing all those things and you're still feeling kind of flat, hey, maybe it's time for you to learn something new. Maybe it's time to learn something new. Challenge yourself a little bit. You've been doing clipper cuts all this time, and you're really, really good with the clipper cuts. All right, now let's see if you can do the same cut, clipper over comb. Can I do the cut without a guard? Can I do the cut like? Try some different things, guys. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, I'm your host, Devon Evans. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Band of Barbers podcast. It's truly been a blessing to impart, share, and talk with you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, we're out of here.